I'm
Excited
going to
to be
interrupt
here.
you.
Oh, go ahead.
I just needed to let everybody know that today's session is being recorded and that it will be available for you to all check out after the event. And after the presentation today, I will be emailing you a PDF of the presentation as well. Hey,
Amazing.
sorry for interrupting. Go ahead.
No problem whatsoever. Yeah, I was just saying I'm really excited to be here. I'm very excited to be able to share this presentation with you guys. Branding is something that I'm really passionate about and have a long career in at this point. And so, yeah, I'm very pleased to be sharing this with you. So, this presentation is jam-packed. I've tried to include a lot of foundational information here for you, at the same time not overwhelm, because there is a lot to learn. But more than anything, this presentation is going to be focused on not just how to create a brand, but how to really create a brand story, because ultimately having a strong brand story is what sets the difference between just a business and a really successful business or brand. So we're going to be talking about what is a brand story, how you can shape a brand story to engage with your customers, to build affinity, loyalty, and ultimately what we need to do, drive sales in order to have a successful business. So, like I said, there's a lot that we're going to cover, and I'm going to try to move through it quickly because in my rehearsals of this, I was hitting an hour worth of presentation time. So, yeah, bear with me. We've got a lot to get through, but we're going to talk about first and foremost what even is a brand. So often when people hear the word brand, they just assume logo. And so we're going to be going into how a brand is so much more than that. We are going to talk about look and feel. So, how you translate what your brand story is into an identity or a presentation that represents that brand story. We're going to talk about customer service because that's so important in order for you to connect with your chosen customers. And then, because I wanted to give you guys something very tangible, actual actions that you could take this afternoon if you wanted to help update your business or how you communicate with your customers, I've included a section here at the very end that discusses where these things come together, which is your website. And that section is full of just very specific tips that you can start implementing right away. So, like I said, I can probably skip this section, but I've included a little introduction here for people who don't know who I am. So, like Shannon said, my name is Hope. I grew up in Dryden and eagerly moved away after high school. I wanted to live in a city. I just needed to express myself. So I left Dryden and moved to London, Ontario to do a bachelor's degree in sociology and English. While I was doing that degree, I just became deeply fascinated with understanding people, why we do the things that we do, what motivates us, what how we make decisions or take action. And so I was able to see a through line in being curious about people and how that translated into the world of business, and particularly how we can do different things to understand our consumers. So I couldn't get a great job in business right out of university with a degree in English and sociology. So I pursued some additional education and got a degree in what is called promotion and imaging, which specifically speaks to marketing, communications, and branding. So I was very fortunate to get a job immediately out of school. I got hired by MAC Cosmetics, which is a big beauty company, in their global communications department. And having such a great job right off the hop really set this amazing trajectory for me to be able to do a lot in my career. And so now I've actually just moved back home to Dryden, which I'm so excited to be here. And more than anything, I'm really excited to take all of the experience and the knowledge that I've gained while living away, to help small businesses here. And so just to give you guys a snapshot of some of the brands that I've supported throughout my career, this is just a snapshot. Some of these have been from a marketing communications perspective. Some of them have been from a content creation perspective or content strategy perspective. Some have been for business consulting or brainstorming. And some of them I've helped build from scratch. So I just show you this to sort of give you a preview of my resume and yeah, just again reiterate that I'm so excited to take everything that I've gleaned from working with these brands, working with the teams. Oh, sorry. Oh, my presentation's not sharing?
No, not yet.
Sorry, guys. I don't have it plugged in.
Oh, okay. That's all right.
Can you guys see my screen now? Sorry, Shannon's in the room with me, so someone's gonna have to unmute to let me know if
No,
they
we
can
can't
see.
see it yet.
What can you see?
Just you.
Just me this whole time. Okay. Let's see about this. How about now?
Yes.
Yay! Okay, fab. Alrighty, well, I'll go back to the slide that matters, which is just showing you guys the brands that I've worked with. So like I was saying, I'm just so excited to be able to take everything that I've gleaned working with these teams and bring this back to you guys. So let's get into it. Chapter 1, what even is a brand? Like I said, it is so much more than a logo. So we're gonna break this down. I just pulled this straight off Google, and this to me encapsulated what a brand is just so well. A product or service that has a unique and immediately recognizable identity that distinguishes itself from others in the industry. I highlighted the two pieces, immediately recognizable identity and distinguishes itself, as to me, within this definition, those are the two really important pieces. And we're going to talk about in the next few slides, specifically how you make both of those two things come true for your business.
Hope it didn't go through still. We're still only seeing your first page.
Oh my goodness, really?
Now it's gone to a product or service.
So you just can't see it when I seems that you just can't see it when I play. Like when I do this, did anything change for you guys? Did it go
Just,
full screen?
not full screen, no, and it's showing just you're on the slide at 12, your 12 slide. It's showing
Yeah.
all the little ones on the side.
So you can see all that. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, it's not in like presentation mode, Hope.
Yeah, interesting. So I'm putting it on presentation mode on my side, but you guys aren't able to see that. Do you guys care if I just go through it like this? It's not as
No,
pretty,
Not at all.
but you're going to get the information, which is more important to me than anything.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just flip through it like this. And actually, let me see one quick thing.
While you're doing that, sorry,
Mhm.
Sierra, do you have a question? You have your hand up.
Yeah, sorry, I can't like seem to unraise my hand, but I was just about to like I was also just mentioning to like Hope that we were having trouble sort of like seeing it. So
Okay. Thank you.
All good. I appreciate the feedback, guys. That would be embarrassing if I'd gone through the whole presentation without you guys being able to see anything. This works for me, you guys being able to, I'll just flip through it like this, and yeah, we'll just keep on keeping on. Okie dokie. So next step. Whenever I'm working with a business, one of the very, very first things that I am working with them to try and figure out in terms of building their brand are one, the foundational or the functional benefit that they bring to their customers, and second, the emotional benefit that they bring to their customers. It is absolutely imperative that you have both of these things nailed in order to set yourself apart from your competition. To me, and in terms of how I've been trained on this stuff, having both of these things nailed is really what sets the difference between an okay business and an excellent brand or business. So, what do both of these things mean? So, your functional benefit is the literal product or service that you sell. Most often, that product or service is either A, solving a problem or filling a gap. Maybe you yourself and your life came up with a business idea strictly based on a challenge or a problem that you were having. Or maybe you noticed that there was a service offering gap in your community that you thought to be able to fill. And so you came up with a functional benefit in terms of your business that was going to A, add value to your community, and B, had to genuinely work. Of course, any business, it has to, whatever you're selling has to actually work. And so then that brings me to the second piece, which is your emotional benefit, which is, in my experience, the emotional benefit is where so often businesses sort of fall short, or this serves as a bit of an oversight. The reason your emotional benefit is so important is because it answers the question, why you? Very often, your functional benefit is not proprietary. Unless you have some fancy patent on something that you've invented, so often the business that you have or the service that you're offering is something that a competitor could come in and offer the exact same thing. And then you have to be able to convince your customers why they should stay with you. If you have your emotional benefit nailed, and that is something that you foundationally have built into your business, it helps make sure that, going back to that definition, that you have distinguished yourself against your competition. So your emotional benefit will embody your values, your company values, and that's something that we're going to dive into just shortly here. But it is also the thing that allows your customer to feel connected to your business. And in this day and age, people, because they have so many options, they truly do want to feel connected to you. And they want you as a business to make them feel something. And so I've included some examples here for you just to further articulate why it's so important to have both the functional benefit and the emotional benefit, and show you some examples of brands that are doing it really well. The first is Apple. So it's not like an Apple device as far as a phone goes, as far as the literal hardware goes. It's not like it is a superior product against Google, Samsung, Huawei, etc., some other smartphone. But people choose Apple because of the way that it makes them feel. People choose Apple because of the brand that they've built around their product. Apple is a cool brand. Their commercials are very dynamic and artistic. The actual design of the phone is very sleek. The partnerships that Apple makes are very strategic and speak to this very aspirational type of person. So, Apple as a brand, even though their product, which is a great functioning product, but could be, in strong competition with another smartphone, they have found a way through their brand identity to distinguish themselves against their competitors. Another example of this is Nike. Again, great running shoes, but it's not like they are a superior running shoe to a Reebok or a Puma or New Balance, whatever. There are a million shoe brands. But again, Nike speaks a certain language. They make you feel something. Again, even in the partnerships that they have forged with people like Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, Cristiano Ronaldo, absolute masters of their particular crafts. When you put on a Nike shoe, again, even if you are not, a high performance athlete, Nike as a brand touches something inside all of us that speaks to this idea of aspiration and betterment. And they've done that through their brand, their marketing, their commercials, all of that type of thing. In an entirely different vein, but again, a company that is very aware of the emotional hook that they offer, we have Heinz. And so Heinz as a brand speaks to tradition, to family, to heritage. And they've made sure that through their labeling, through their actual packaging, through their commercials, they speak to that rich family tradition. Again, there are other ketchups out there. I guess it's a great debate as to whether those ketchups are as good or not as good. But as a brand, Heinz has done an excellent job at leaning into this idea of tradition, and that sets them apart from their competition. So you might be sitting there being like, that's great. I would love to have an emotional benefit, but I don't know how to do that. So what we would do if we were going through an emotional benefit exercise is map out for you your company's mission, vision, and values. Part of the reason that this is so important as well is because if you have your mission, vision, and values nailed down, it allows you to have a guiding light to filter your decisions through. There will always be fun ideas that pop up. You might have a great idea for a new product or something to post on social media, or maybe another business to partner with. But even though lots of different opportunities will come our way, we need to be able to fundamentally decide, does this make sense for my brand image and the story I'm trying to sell? And so if you have a distinct mission, so the goal that you are marching towards, a strong vision, the how you are going to achieve that mission, and then a strong set of values, that acts as the foundation for you to then start building your actual business around. But like I said, B, it also acts as this guiding light for you to consistently lean on throughout your entire lifespan of your business. So I've offered here, this is a real mission, vision, and values that I pulled directly from a company's website. So I'm going to take you through it and you can see if you can guess who it is. So, and keep in mind as well, this is all very aspirational. This is sort of what this company goes for. So their mission is to refresh the world. They want to inspire moments of optimism and happiness, and they want to create value and make a difference. Their vision as to how they're going to do that is to craft the brands and choice of drinks that people love, to refresh them in body and spirit. And they, again, want to have a shared future that makes a difference in people's lives, communities, and our planet. And then the values that they abide by are that they are leaders, they are collaborators, they value integrity and accountability, they're passionate, they also value diversity and quality. Does anyone want to take a stab at who this might be? No? Okay.
So we think it's a water brand, but we don't know what.
I mean, that would make sense, but it is Coca-Cola. So that is, again, in their guide and their brand story, that is what they're constantly holding themselves against. So the big question to answer, again, from both a functional perspective, but also an emotional perspective, is what do you want to be known for? That is a very important question to be constantly filtering your decisions through and how you build your business. What do you want to be known for? All right, so that's chapter 1. Chapter 2 is look and feel. So part of my job as a brand expert or as a designer is to understand how you translate things like your mission, vision, and values into a distinct look and feel. It is my job to understand the psychology behind things like color and shape and textures and typography and all of these different styling tools that speak their own sort of specific visual language and say something to customers without words. So when we're working with brands, we always start off with sort of mapping out the functional and emotional benefit. And then from there, we have this jumping off point to be able to do things like find your color palette and create a great logo and pick your fonts and all that fun creative stuff. So to articulate this, I wanted to take you guys through 4 different examples of company values and how they translate into a specific look and feel for 4 different brands. So the first brand, and I'll invite you guys to, if you have ideas or you want to guess at who these brands might be before I reveal them. The first example, their brand values, 3 of them at least, are Canadian heritage, comfort, and craftsmanship. Do you guys have any idea who this might be? No? Okay, I will reveal. It is Roots. So from a Canadian heritage perspective, obviously, the red and white palette is very on the nose. We also have a beaver, which is very on the nose for Canada. But then there are more subtle elements to this brand that speak to the idea of comfort and the craftsmanship element. So this logo is very minimalist. It's very, like, they didn't color in the beaver or give the leaves and branches texture. It's very clean, it's very minimal. And to me, that always speaks to quality craftsmanship. It's simple, tried and true, and tested. The other thing is that their typography that they've used in the actual Roots word mark is very soft. It's very round, very cushy. There's some nice swoops in there. To me, that very much speaks to this idea of comfort. The beaver itself also, I like that the beaver's eye, it almost looks like it's smiling a little bit, which again just creates this very comfortable, inviting element to the brand. So all this to say, you can see how their company values have translated into a look for the brand identity that makes sense. There's cohesion there, there's brand salience there. The next example, their values are they are innovative, they're fast, and they provide a reliable service. And this is FedEx. So interesting thing about FedEx, when they were first setting up as a company, their founder, whose name is Fred Smith, he had a singular target customer that he was going for. That's a bit untraditional. Most people don't start a company with one customer in mind. But in this case, it was a big customer. It was the Federal Reserve Bank in the States. And so he created a brand literally called Federal Express and looked to target that customer. He used rich colors, like a very authoritative, deep, deep blue to speak to that authority, but then also had a very vibrant, energetic color. The original logo, it was a bit more red, but in this one, it's very vibrant orange to speak to, again, that idea of energy and that fast-paced movement. And a little Easter egg in the modern logo is that the design team hid an arrow in between the E and the X, if you can see that there. And so this, when I was researching this, they said that this was meant to speak to the company's longstanding value proposition of speed of delivery. This forward momentum arrow was meant to, just sort of symbolize that. The next brand is their values are performance, passion, and integrity. It is Adidas. And so I love the Adidas brand because these 3 bars that they have really just owned as a trademark for their company. You can see these 3 bars, whether it's going down a pant leg, a side of a shoe, a shirt, and you know distinctively without even seeing the word mark that this is Adidas. A cool thing about the way that they've oriented these bars within this logo is that the actual shape here is meant to resemble a mountain. And the steps are meant to speak to this idea of performance, of perseverance, of overcoming challenge, which as an athletic company, that makes so much sense through their entire mission, vision, values, and then their actual visual brand identity. And the last example, their values are power, sustainability, and hard work. And the brand is CAT, the tractor company. I'm sure they do more than tractors, but I know them as a tractor company. So if you look at this logo, these letters are chunky, they are thick, and they are meant to speak to this idea of very hard work, of that grit. This logo itself is also quite minimal. And when I was researching the inspiration behind why they kept it so minimal, the design team spoke to this idea that CAT really prizes minimal modern technology. Again, that idea of craftsmanship and tried and true. So they wanted to create a simple logo that spoke to that. Finally, they wanted to infuse a very ownable brand color. If you think about one of CAT's main competitors, John Deere, they have a very ownable color as well. That green, you see a green tractor and you know that it's a John Deere. And CAT wanted to be able to compete with that with a distinguishable brand identity as well. So they infused this yellow. And again, that is seen through every aspect of their brand, whether it be their products, their website, their social media platforms, etc. So I bring back the definition that we started this with in terms of creating an immediately recognizable identity and that also distinguishes itself from others in its industry. And I hope you guys are starting to see how when you have that functional benefit, you have that emotional benefit, and then you're then able to craft a brand around those two things, you're very much able to start fulfilling these two objectives of having a recognizable identity and distinguishing yourself from the competition. And something I'll just sort of plug in here as an interesting stat. There have been many different studies done on like first impressions and customer acquisition, but a general consensus is that it usually takes around 90 seconds for a customer interacting with your brand to make a judgment call on you, to decide whether they want to be in a relationship with you as a business or not. If we think about how people are typically meeting you, more often than not, it's through their phones or their computers. It's in some sort of a digital platform. And that's why it's so important that we have a very good digital strategy, that we have a great website, that we have social channels that are interesting and add value. Because again, if you've got 90 seconds upon meeting someone that you get to sort of sell them on your business, you are not literally there to sell yourself or to be personable. It's so important that you have these brand identity elements and this guiding light figured out so that you are able to represent yourself well, no matter where they meet you for the first time. All right, so that's the foundational piece about branding. Now we're going to move into talking about customer service, because customer service is a place where your brand gets to be embodied in terms of how you interact with your customers. The very first thing that they teach you in marketing school is that word of mouth is your number one marketing tool. I think that is articulated through how we influence each other in conversation, or be it online, if you are seeing people that you know and respect and trust using certain products. Word of mouth is always going to help you make a sale or break a sale. Something that I think is a massive benefit to where we live is that word of mouth here is just so alive. People here talk. Sometimes that maybe isn't always the best thing, but when it comes to business, it's an excellent, excellent tool that we get to leverage to help market our business. And so it's through things like customer service that we get to be able to influence what that word of mouth is going to be. Is it going to be positive, negative, based on the interactions that people are having with you? So there are two different types of customer service that we're going to just touch on here today. There is proactive customer service and reactive customer service. I was once told the analogy that reactive customer service is like the equivalent of your plant's leaves wilting before you go and remember to water it. If you can ideally be watering your plants and taking care of them proactively without them ever having to alert you to an issue, that's pretty ideal. We have to have reactive strategies in place because inevitably with every business, there will always be customer complaints, there will always be challenges. But if we can do things to build customer rapport and customer loyalty and trust through proactive customer service strategies, they will serve you so well for customer retention, and also for when those reactive moments happen, you have a customer who is hopefully aligned with your business and wants to support you regardless of the fact that they've encountered a challenge. So I've got here a few different proactive customer service tips that you can start implementing into your business right away. So the first of which is to produce messaging and content that answers people's common questions. So if you notice that people are frequently asking questions about a particular product or service that you offer, make sure that you are peppering answers to those questions everywhere. Have a great website that outlines everything that someone might need to know about your business. Make sure that on social media, you're consistently creating content that answers these questions and speaks to the value that you offer. Don't worry about being annoying and repeating yourself over and over and over again. That is so important. Continue beating the drum of your business. The second is to have a plan for alerting customers when a mistake inevitably happens. If you're experiencing shipping delays, if there's some sort of interruption to your service, whether it be you not being able to make it to your store on time, or maybe your website is down, or maybe there's an issue in your manufacturing and so there's going to be a delay in production, make sure to proactively let your customers know what is going on. Bring them in. The third piece here is to always be trying to introduce your customers to new products that they might enjoy. So if that is literally in store, being able to speak about different products that are available that you sell, or online, like I'm sure you guys have noticed on lots of websites, there are sections often at the bottom that says, customers who bought this product also bought X, or here's something you might also like. People like being introduced to new things. It makes them feel like you care and like you're adding value to their shopping experience. This one here, having pre-planned and approved methods that your team can use to improve a customer's experience, this to me is so huge. I'll share a personal example of a time where this came true for me. So when I was living in Toronto, on my walk to work every morning, I would pass a few different Starbucks. And there was one very close to my office that I didn't go to super frequently because it was the busiest all the time. But one day I went in there, I ordered my latte, and the same girl that put in my order like handed me the latte, and as she was doing so, realized that the size was wrong. She was immediately so apologetic. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And I just kind of said to her, oh my, like, don't even worry about it. This like has the espresso that I need. We're good to go. Don't stress it. You guys are so busy. She was very touched with my kindness, which I guess is kind of sad in the sense, but I mean, sometimes Toronto can be that way. But she was so touched by my kindness and me just telling her it was no big deal that she let me know that. Thank you so much. People here, I deal with like angry customers all the time. Thank you. I'm like really grateful that you're not upset. And she immediately grabbed a gift card from behind her till and said the next one is on us. And it was a $10 gift card to Starbucks. So I left that interaction not being pissed off that she'd gotten my size wrong, but man, I was just glowing. Not only had I gotten a compliment on being a nice person, but I had been given a gift card. And she didn't have to go get her manager's approval or jump through any hoops in order to make that small little action. But it made such a huge difference to my experience in that store. And then I kept going back there. And when I would see her, it was pleasant, whatever. It just built such a nice customer experience and a good word of mouth experience. Like I'm telling you this story here today. So having these pre-approved methods, whether it be cute little gifts that your staff can put in your customers' orders, a discount code that they can give people, having those things figured out in advance that they don't need to get your approval for is just huge. And so then this last piece kind of goes into that. Invest in training that will bolster your team's confidence, leadership skills, and therefore company loyalty. I put company loyalty in there because so often businesses will overlook the fact that the word of mouth that comes from their employees, that comes from people who are behind the scenes of your business, man, is one of the most powerful marketing tools that you have. If your staff are going home and talking about your business poorly, or talking about you as a business owner poorly, people really listen to that. And not only that, they then tell their friends about that, the fact that your business isn't all that maybe it's made up to be. On the flip side, if you have staff that love their job, they feel invested in, they love you as a leader, they just feel so valued in their workplace, that is going to do so much for your business. So when you're thinking about word of mouth, I also want you to think close to home in terms of the customer service piece and think about how you invest in your employees. I've got some examples here of companies that have done proactive customer service really well. Amazon is a great one. When you have a package that is on its way to you, you are consistently receiving updates from Amazon. You're getting them in your email, you're getting them in your text messages if you have that activated. And at any time, you can go on their app or on their website and get a real-time update as to what is going on with your package. If it's delayed, you will also be notified of that immediately. So they just do a really great job at never making you guess, never making you wonder. Another example is a company called The Ordinary. So this is a beauty brand or a skincare brand, and attention that they had noticed for their customers was that during the month of November, specifically during the Black Friday weekend, that is a very stressful shopping period for customers in general, especially during Black Friday, where we're put under these really restrictive time constraints where we feel like we have to make impulsive purchases. So what they wanted to do was create a stress-free shopping experience where they were still able to offer you guys a discount and take part in this sort of discount period time of year for shopping, but remove the stress. So they invented what they call Slowvember, which is for the entire month of November, everything on their website is 23% off. And they encourage you in their marketing, like, do your research, take your time. We've got plenty of stock. We don't want you to be stressed out. And so I just love that as an identifying a consumer attention and getting ahead of it with proactive customer service. The last example I have here is IKEA. So during the back to school season in communities that had universities, IKEA put out what they called the University Starter Box. And so, based on looking at customer shopping trends, they put together a tote that had the most common items that people were buying during back to school season. And not only that, they put it all together and sold it for $99 rather than I think it says $123.82 there, rather than the $124 that it would cost you if you were to go and buy all of these items individually. And so if you think about this from a customer service perspective, I don't know if any of you guys have been shopping in IKEA during back to school season, but it is absolutely mayhem in that store. So not only are they making your life easy by just saying, hey, here's everything you need, we're saving you then time and stress in that moment, but also we're saving you money by giving you this at a discounted cost. Whether people use this or not, it creates a really positive sentiment that IKEA has its customers back. Okay, so reactive. So if you reach a point where the leaves have wilted, where maybe your customers are coming to you because they have a complaint or a question, maybe they're confused about something, it is so important that you have tools set in place to be able to handle that seamlessly. So the first of which, and this is something that I'm always a huge advocate of for my clients, is to have prepared scripts to common questions and complaints. This is important for a lot of reasons. One, it saves you time. If you're constantly having to type out the same answers to the same question, it's very easy to copy and paste something. Second, it helps create some consistency. So if you have a specific tone of voice that you're able to offer, whether you're answering a question, receiving a compliment, or answering a complaint, if you have consistent scripts already built out, that helps create a lot of consistency. When that's particularly important is when you yourself might be finding yourself getting a little bit defensive. So if a customer comes to you and maybe they're not being very polite and you find yourself wanting to react to them in a way that maybe doesn't speak to your company values, you're just in the heat of the moment. It happens to all of us. If you have scripts that you can just copy and paste in that moment to help save yourself the headache while still representing yourself appropriately, it just helps to make a world of difference. Also, training your employees on what to do if. Not only does that make your employees feel supported and like you have their back and they feel like they're able to represent themselves in your business well, but again, it also creates consistency. You don't have one person solving a problem one way while another person is solving a problem another way. You have these procedures set in place. It makes it simple. Make sure that with every email, social message, and social comment that you're responding to, you have a consistent tone throughout the whole thing. When it comes to building your brand, voice and tone is something that we will actually map out very specifically. What type of phrases and messaging do you consistently use? Do you use emojis or not? Do you use profanity or not? Do you use very colloquial, joking terms, or are you very professional in your voice? Making sure that you have that figured out and then keep that consistent across the board is great for building your brand image. Make contacting you easy. So if you think about the idea that so often when people are trying to reach out to you in terms of this reactive customer service, they need to be able to get in touch with you easily. If you think about this from the perspective as well of if they're already maybe upset about something, and so they're coming to your website to try and find an email address or something to get in touch with you, and then they struggle to find that as well, that's only going to tick them off even further. So make contacting you easy. promote that you accept feedback with an open mind and allow people to just get in touch. And then the last piece, and this kind of goes back into what we were talking about with the proactive, but is have generous options ready to make it right. And again, let your employees know what they are allowed to do and what they need to come to you for. So if they are allowed to refund money, if they are allowed to offer discount codes, let them know what they're allowed to do, have those generous options ready so that you can always leave the experience on a positive note. And so I've got a couple real life examples. These are just things that have happened to my family within the past year that I want to share with you. Again, speaking to word of mouth, but also speaking to great proactive and reactive customer service. So Wayfair, my family loves Wayfair. Everyone's buying from Wayfair all the time. There are two examples that I have from the recent year that speaks to great reactive customer service. So the first of which is my mom ordered 2 lawn chairs for the deck. One of them was missing a little decorative piece. It was missing like the piece that you plug into the armchair to cover up the screw. So the chair worked just fine. It assembled appropriately, but it was missing this little decorative piece, and my mom wanted to complete the look. So she reached out to Wayfair and explained this to them. Hey, we got our chairs, love them. It's missing this little decorative piece. Would you be able to send me that little plug? Wayfair sent her 2 whole new chairs. She just they completely replaced her order. For her, that was like a wow moment. Oh my gosh, now I have 4 chairs. Yeah, one of them is missing a plug, but I paid, one price and now I have 4 chairs. But also if you think about it from like a logistical perspective on the back end of Wayfair, if they would have had to assign one particular staff member to get in touch with the manufacturer, get this one in particular plug, coordinate all of that, send that plug back to my mom individually, that would have been a lot of time and resources that they as a company would have had to invest just to get this one plug. They have the ability to just simply replace the order in a couple clicks and make their lives easier and create very positive sentiment for my mom. My brother and his girlfriend had a similar experience where they purchased a table from Wayfair and it as well was missing a piece. They reached out to Wayfair to let them know the situation. And again, Wayfair, sure, no problem. We have a new table on its way to you right now. And this was a really nice table. And so they gifted the table itself because it actually still worked perfectly fine. They gifted the table to a friend of theirs who just was getting a new house. So that was a really nice positive gesture for them. And then at the end of the day, they still got a brand new table. So again, reactive customer service, Wayfair has policies and procedures put in place for when issues happen. The second example I have from real life is Crocs. So I don't know if you guys know Crocs sells more than just their, traditional slip-on shoe. They've got boots and all sorts of sandals. They even have high heels. And they recently released sneakers. I guess maybe not recently, within the past year. My father loves his Crocs. He has a latex allergy. And so I wanted to know from Crocs if these new sneakers contained any latex, because if they did, my dad couldn't wear them. So I wrote them a quick message. I just sent them an email. Hey, explained to them the situation about my dad. Could you let me know if this is an okay product for him? They got back to me right away, not only letting me know that yes, the shoes were latex free, but they also proactively gave us a discount code for 25% off their entire website. So I love this as a sales tactic because we were kind of on the fence. Like we didn't really know whether we were going to buy the running shoes or not. We just wanted to know if they were latex free. But the fact that they gave us a discount code is a massive incentive for us to follow through on the purchase. And not only that, maybe make additional purchases because 25% off is no joke. So again, just an example of whoever their email marketing team was has this discount code available that they can proactively spread far and wide to allow the sale to happen. Okay, so that's customer service. So the final part of this presentation is, again, tangible things that you can go ahead and do right away, literally this afternoon if you wanted to update your website to make it more on brand for you and a more positive customer experience. In the world of web development, there is a specific discipline, like people go away to school for something called user experience design. And what user experience designers do is they look to optimize websites and apps to make sure that they flow seamlessly, to make sure that buttons are where they're expected to be, to make sure that everything is very clean and easy to navigate. And so, what I want you guys to do, if you can, the next time that you're either on your own website or interacting with someone else's website, is put on your user experience designer hat. Try to look at this website from the perspective of design flow. So, is it easy to find the information that you're looking for? Do the buttons make sense? Is the website messy or clean? Does it overwhelm you with text and information, or is it very nice to look at? Just start asking yourself these questions as you flow through your website. So from a look and feel perspective, when it comes to user experience design, like we talked about, first impressions matter. If you are thinking about the timeline of someone landing on your website and then they have 90 seconds to make a judgment call as to whether they want to keep shopping on your website or not, that's really not much time. So your look and feel and how inviting things are right off the get is very important. So you want to make your website highly visual. You don't want big block text. There is a time and a place for long form text. I'm a big fan of long form text when appropriate, but often on your website, people want the information quickly. So make it highly visual, keep it very clean, get to the point. And again, like we've talked about, have a consistent voice across your entire website. Next is the way that you communicate. So if you were to ask, why do people even go to websites? Unless you're selling a product, unless you have a storefront online, people are going to your website to get information about your business. The top 3 pieces of information that they are looking for when they search out your business online is, 1, they're looking for your contact information or your address. They may also be looking for your hours of operation. Knowing that, make this information very easy to find. Put it right on your homepage. Add links to your social media. Make your phone number available if you are open to being communicated with via phone. But make that information available right away and make it obvious. The second piece is that they want to know about you. Consumers in this day and age are very conscious and they want to feel connected to the brands that they interact with. Again, that is what is going to distinguish you against your competitors. So on your website, have an about page where you talk about, you can even go into your mission, vision, and values, why you started this company in the first place. Really tell your brand story. And also have a page called Our Team. Introduce yourself, introduce your employees, the people who really make a difference to your business. Again, allow people to feel connected to you. Finally, they're often looking for coupons or sales information. If you are the type of business that has sales going on or maybe a special promotion every month, make that information readily available as soon as they land on your website. So maybe you'll have a banner front and center as soon as they get there. It's whatever month, we have this on sale, or use this code online or in store for 10% off all month long. Again, similar to the ordinary example that I shared earlier, with the Slowvember, that is the first thing you see when you land on their website. all month long. And again, if you're not the type of business that does a lot of sales, or you don't really offer coupons very often, that's okay too. But just give your customers something to do so that they can still feel satisfied in the information that they were looking for. So an alternative is to say, hey, follow us on social media or sign up to our newsletter, where we will keep you updated on promotions and sales, new products, etc. Just give them something else to do. Finally, this goes back to the proactive customer service. Make the first move. So something that I see businesses do a lot that I really like is that they'll add a welcome message right on their homepage. Hey, thanks for stopping by. Hey, check this out. Just something to welcome people into your digital ecosystem. The second is to offer them some sort of an incentive, a gift, or a coupon code for being there. So often brands will do this in conjunction with signing up for a newsletter so that they can continue to keep in touch with you. But that may look like, sign up for this newsletter and download my free recipe book of my 10 favorite recipes. Sign up for this newsletter and I will send you a playlist to my favorite music. Sign up for this newsletter and I will give you a discount code to my business. There are so many different things that you can offer as just a free little welcome gift upon people visiting you. Next, use the built-in customer service tools that are already available to you in your email, on Facebook and Instagram. So all of these platforms have built in what are called customer relationship management tools, CRM tools, that you can set up in advance so that if people reach out to you, they're immediately notified of when you'll be getting back to them. Maybe you have a chat bot set up that allows common questions and answers to be provided. But there are all of these tools that are available to you in the onset that you can get set up. Most of them are free, and they just help to build a better customer relationship. And that goes into this next point, which is to manage expectations with clear messaging on timing and support. In this day and age, everyone wants the information that they want instantly. Social media in particular has really primed our brains to expect that instant gratification. You obviously being a business owner, you're not living on your phone to be able to answer someone's question within 30 seconds of them sending it. And that's perfectly fine. People are understanding of that, but you just need to manage their expectations. So maybe you have a bounce back that says, hey, we check this inbox once a day. You can expect an answer back from us within 48 hours. Or just something, if they have a question that you're not able to answer right away, let them know that. Don't just leave them on red while you go and try to figure out the answer. Let them know, like, hey, I don't have the answer to that right now, but I'm going to do some digging and I will get back to you before the end of the day. Just, again, over communicate and manage people's expectations. The last piece, and this goes back to your website, is have an up-to-date, frequently asked questions area of your website. Again, people are going to your website to find information, to have their questions answered. If you get ahead of them, again, thinking about never letting that plant wilt, if you get ahead of them and have the most common questions answered, that helps to just keep a very positive customer relationship. Okay, so that is pretty well the end of my presentation. I just wanted to provide you guys very quickly here with a couple resources if you wanted to continue learning about this stuff. So the first are two books that I'd recommend. One is called Traction, and it is about 17 different marketing tactics and how you can test different marketing tactics in cheap and simple ways to decide whether you even want to implement them long-term for your business. So it shows you how it introduces you to these different marketing tactics, but then B, shows you how you can test them really simply to then decide whether you want to go all in. The second is called Sell the Way You Buy. And this is very much about consumer psychology. Sometimes as business owners, we're too close to our own businesses and we can't see the business from a customer's perspective. And so this book really helps people understand how they can approach their business from a customer's perspective and think about how you sell the same way as you would buy from another company. On the Sunset Country Creative Spotify channel, I've compiled a playlist that I've just titled Small Business Resources. And I think it's 20 plus podcasts that cover all sorts of things from leadership techniques to marketing techniques, selling techniques, brand building techniques. But I would definitely recommend you check that out if you're just out on a walk or you're looking to educate yourself, as there's a ton of value there. And these are all podcasts that I personally have listened to and have been really inspired by. And then the last piece here that I just really want to empower all of you to sort of this mindset to take on is to start really observing the brands that you love, the brands that you yourself interact with on a daily basis, and challenge yourself to understand why. Why do you love them? What is it about this brand? What is it about their social media or their website or their products or the stores that you go to? What is it about the layout of the store or the way that the staff treat you? All of those things are so important for when you're building your brand. So if you are able to start really looking at the world through that lens, it will pay off in dividends in terms of how you build your own business. So the key takeaways, because I know I just threw so much at you, are: 1, figure out how to clearly communicate the functional benefit of your brand and spread it everywhere. 2, have a clearly defined mission, vision, and values for your business. That's your emotional benefit. 3, embody your values in every part of your brand and business. So every decision that you make sure that you're staying true to who you are and your business. 4, create a plan for customer service. Have that stuff figured out in advance. And finally, go through your website and tidy it up and make it very user-friendly. And so that's my presentation. The end.
Thank you, Hope. That was amazing.
No
At this point, we're going to open the floor up. If anyone has any questions, you can take yourself off mute. Questions, comments. Like I said, I will be sending out a copy of Hope's presentation. And she has put the challenge out to everybody here today she's given us some tips that we can use and put into play by this afternoon, apparently.
If you have time.
Exactly. Exactly. Is there any questions?
I'll also just say, if people don't have questions in this moment, I put my email up there on the screen, and I'll make sure that you guys have it all afterwards, the hello@Sunset Country Creative. But I'm always here to help you brainstorm, to bounce ideas around if you have a quick question. I truly am just very, very excited and grateful to be back in Northwestern Ontario and supporting businesses here. And so yeah, if there's anything you ever want to know, or you're just hitting a roadblock, you just want some support, you want a teammate to tap, I'm genuinely always here to help you. Yeah, so please don't hesitate. I'm game.
Thanks, Hope. And the same thing, if you're looking, oh, we have a question. Okay, Danielle, go ahead.
Hi, I just have a question, kind of going back to the beginning when you were talking about differentiating yourself and from the competition, I guess. How would do you have any tips to like deal with like the mental game of that when you do have someone you are directly competing with, to try to not like put yourself down or get like negative about it? I don't know if you have any tips with that.
Yeah, I feel like that's a whole conversation in and of itself. On the side, I'll also mention that I do mindset coaching because I've had a lot of leadership training throughout my career that I love helping people with their mindset, especially when it comes to business. I know, God, what is the quote? Comparison is the thief of all joy. I know how tough it is when you are consistently comparing yourself to other people or you're seeing other businesses do something really well. There is something really powerful in the idea of trusting that if you are staying true to your values, working hard, that things will work out for you. I know that's a little bit abstract and it's like, okay, great, that's all fine and dandy to just sit there and have trust. But I do believe that if you are working really hard and consistently trying to just innovate and improve your business and figure out what works, that you do end up seeing success. The other thing is to not necessarily compare yourself in a negative way and instead try to look at what people are doing around you for inspiration. So rather than looking at somebody and either getting jealous of them or using it as a way to put yourself down, like, I'm not doing enough, I'm not good enough, I'm never going to be successful, look at who I'm up against, and letting that stuff seep into your psyche, you can instead look at it from the perspective of, that's amazing, they're doing a great job, I want to do that well too, I'm going to use them for inspiration or fuel to my fire. I am excellent too, I have a lot of value to offer too, and I'm just going to continue to work hard and figure out new strategies to persevere towards that. There's just something really powerful in not looking at others as, bad or as an opportunity to shame ourselves. Shame is so bad for us. If you can instead try to pump yourself up and uplift yourself, that is so energizing and really powerful. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. It's kind of like I said, we could go into a whole separate conversation on the mindset around comparison, which we can totally do. If you can call me and we can talk about the stuff, I can talk about that kind of thing all day. But yeah, I hope that helps a little bit.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else? And at any time, if you have questions, something comes up, this afternoon while we're all really looking at our websites and making these changes to them, Hope's email will be in the presentation, so we will definitely send that out to you guys shortly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I encourage you guys, like, if you do have the time to breeze through it again, and like I said, if questions do pop up later on, just send them my way. I know that I just threw a tremendous amount of information at you that you might be sitting there feeling like, oh my gosh, I have to figure out all of these different things about my business. I need to implement social strategies and fix my website and figure out what my emotional hook is. Like, I appreciate that there's a lot here, but just take it one step at a time. And like I said, if things come up where you need a little bit of help, you can reach out, and you do have people around you to support you in your business. I think one of the things I notice is always so tough about entrepreneurs, and this is true for myself too, is we sometimes have a hard time asking for help, or we feel like we've got to do it all by ourselves. We have to figure out how to do every little thing and be an expert of finance, of marketing, of whatever. That's not true. Lean on the people around you who are experts in these things that are there to help. And yeah, if I can be a resource to you in any way, I'm fully here for it.
Thanks, Hope. And the same thing. We have a mentorship program that runs through PACE. And so if there's areas that you're struggling in that you need to be paired up with a mentor, someone experienced like Hope, please reach out and contact us as well. So at this time, I would like to thank Hope very much for the wonderful presentation today. I know I took a lot away from it, and I'm hoping everyone else did. Keep looking at our Facebook page and our website. We try and do these presentations on a regular basis. And there are lots of resources out there for entrepreneurs. So if you have any questions, give our office a call. And Hope, again, thank you so much. You are a bundle of knowledge. And I know I'll be checking out your podcasts later on today.
Yeah, enjoy. They're there for you. There's also a good just playlist in general called Desk Sides, which is like all the music that we like to listen to in the design studio or when we're hanging out. So it's good. It's all oldies. Just feel good oldies.
Awesome. All
So,
right, everyone.
cool.
Well,
Well,
thank you very
so
much for attending,
Mhm.
and we will chat soon.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, guys.